The machines purred as if they were sustaining his every breath. My son's face looked ghostly, almost see-through beneath the stark ICU lights. The surgeon's words still reverberated in my mind, his odds of pulling through are slim. My wife had gone to phone relatives, needing some task to occupy her. I just sat, the heavy stillness pressing into my chest. When I lifted his jacket from the chair by his bed, something fell out, a sealed envelope, edges slightly frayed, my name scrawled in his handwriting, Dad. My heartbeat quickened. I ripped it open, half hoping for a simple I love you or maybe sorry about the car. Instead, it read, Dad, if you're reading this, head to storage unit 142. It'll all make sense. Everything. The word hung heavy, like a warning. I glanced at him, tubes snaking from his arms, machines ticking off seconds he might not have. At 19, he was too young for mysteries, too young to sound so calculated. I tucked the note back into the envelope, slid it into my pocket, and sank back into the chair. The ventilator's hum seemed to grow louder. Something told me this wasn't a random crash. The next morning, the hospital lights still glared, unchanging. I told my wife I needed a breather and left. Storage Unit 142 was a 20-minute drive, tucked in an industrial park on the town's outskirts, where people stashed things they'd rather forget. I unlocked the gate, punched in the code from the key tag I'd found with his car keys. The metal door groaned upward, sending a shiver down my spine. Inside, it wasn't what I'd pictured, no mess, no clutter, just a single black duffel bag on a metal table, next to a stack of papers. The top sheet was a bank statement in my name, showing deposits I didn't recognize, tens of thousands, stretching back 2 years. Next was a photo, my son beside a man in a dark suit I didn't know. His smile wasn't his own, it was forced, like he was proving a point. Beneath it, a flash drive taped to a sheet with 3 words in red ink, when it's safe. Fear hadn't hit yet, just a sharp, icy clarity, the kind that comes when truth starts to murmur. That night, in the hospital waiting room, I plugged the flash drive into my laptop. The files were dated, security footage, text logs, GPS records. He'd been following something or someone. One video showed a warehouse, men swapping envelopes, boxes loaded into trucks labeled as medical supplies. Another file listed names, one jumping out, Dr. H. Morgan, neurosurgery, City General, my son's surgeon. It didn't click until I played the audio. His voice crackled through, unsteady but resolute. Dad, if I'm gone, it wasn't an accident. They're funneling money through the hospital. Fake transplant donors. Dr. Morgan's involved. I've got proof, but they know I tracked their transfers. Then, silence. I looked down the hall toward my son's room. The doctor's office was 3 doors away. The crash, the car, the improbable wreck, it started to take shape. When Dr. Morgan entered the ICU that night, I was ready. Any news? I asked. He flashed his usual weary smile, we're doing all we can. But his hands trembled faintly, just enough to notice. His gaze flicked to the folder on my lap, marked 142. His face betrayed him for a split second. That was enough. You knew, I said softly. He didn't respond, just stared, weighing whether to lie or dodge. I didn't press. I didn't need to. I'd already sent the files anonymously to every major news outlet in the state. By morning, headlines erupted like wildfire, hospital fraud exposed, surgeons tied to organ trafficking. Dr. Morgan resigned by midday. Federal agents swarmed before noon. My wife called it a fluke. I let her believe that. 2 days later, my son's eyes fluttered open. The nurses dubbed it a miracle. I called it timing. He didn't recall much or acted like he didn't. The look in his eyes when I showed him the envelope said he knew exactly what he'd done. You took care of it, didn't you? He whispered. I gave a single nod. We did. I never mentioned the duplicate drives or the offshore accounts I found in the files. I moved the money half donated, the rest hidden under a name that no longer existed. Dr. Morgan's name dominated headlines for weeks, then faded, like all villains exposed to light. 6 months later, my son walks again, slower, quieter. He avoids that night, and I don't pry. The storage unit is empty now, just dust and quiet. Sometimes I drive by, the number 142 still stark on the metal door. There's an odd calm in knowing the truth came at a cost. We both paid. The surgeon lost his career. My son lost his naivety. Me, I lost the belief that this world is ever pure. When truth beckons, it doesn't murmur. It waits, steady, cold, and unyielding.